Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Two Buds One Podcast. This is episode 28. I am your host, the Techno Jelly, with my co-host Alchem Games. Alchem, how are you doing today? You doing okay?
I'm doing all right. Yeah,
Nice,
it's been a
nice.
pretty good week.
You've been playing a lot of Satisfactory. Have you been enjoying it?
I was enjoying my time with Mia. We're having a good time there, and
Nice.
yeah, especially since 1.0 finally came out, so they've
Yeah, I heard
fully
that.
added a lot of stuff.
Wait.
Oh.
Is Satisfactory 3D Factorio? Is that statement true?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
it is. I mean,
Is there yeah, I'm sure there's differences and all that stuff, but like, is that basic statement at least somewhat true?
somewhat. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Victoria has a bit of extra stuff in it. I mean,
I think there's more
Satisfactory has quite a
combat
few.
in Factorio because the
Yeah.
aliens are actively fighting you in a Factorio.
Yeah. The
I
only
don't
thing
think
you're
they do
fighting
that
is the wilderness or wildlife. That's it
Yeah.
in Satisfactory.
Yeah, because in Factorio the aliens slowly grow because of your pollution and they actively attack you, and you have to like build defenses while you're trying to build up your factory in Factorio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And this one, not so much. They don't do anything. There's an area in our world that has been we blotted out the sun with all the stuff we put over it.
All right,
It's a
cool.
mystery that they're not attacking us.
Yeah. All right. That was just a random thing I noted. So I have, let me count, 1, 2, 3, no, 4 stories today. I can't remember if you wanted to talk about anything.
Nothing too big. I mean, there's something that happened recently, but just apparently while I was just going upstairs to get myself a drink and everything, the family was like, "Did you hear the news?" I'm like, "What?"
Like
No.
Gaming news or regular news?
No, regular news.
I mean, if you want to talk about regular news, we can. I don't know what it is though. I don't know what you're talking about. It's up to you. Okay. We'll go with my stories, and if you feel like it, at the end of my stories we can continue on, or we can save it for the after party. And so people pay me instead for that stuff. Patreon.com/the Techno Jelly. Anyway. So today, Alchem, Ubisoft. Ubisoft is hurting right now. Have you seen all the stuff with Star Wars Outlaws?
Honestly, no. I only heard that it just had a lackluster kind of opening when it came out, and that was it.
Star Wars Outlaws is okay. You know what I'm gonna, if I was to give a rating of Star Wars Outlaws, it'd be a mid out of 10. It's like every time I see people playing this game or like I've watched like a bunch of people play it. I've watched gameplay alone, like without people talking. Like I've watched just raw gameplay, and I've watched people playing it and people having fun, not having fun, and it's like I think Ubisoft needs to stop. The Ubisoft game is too much now. It's just like they really have like the Star Wars Outlaws outcome really is. It's just the Ubisoft formula with Star Wars. And unfortunately in some ways the most annoying ways. Because there is like okay. I don't know how you will feel about this, Alchem, but I'm not a huge fan of stealth games, right? Like, I was never that into Assassin's Creed, right? But I understand the appeal of stealth games. But when in Star Wars Outlaws, there are missions where if you get spotted, the mission fails right away, right? It's like that kind of stealth mission.
Oh,
which
those
is
old,
and that happens really early on. And the stealth isn't very like, okay, Alchem, it's just the tall grass system from Assassin's Creed. Like that's the stealth system.
2024. We have better stealth mechanics at this point.
It is really old, and like the shooting mechanics is, okay.
It's safe to say people and game developers can take a page from Metal Gear because it's not coming back. We aren't getting any more Metal Gear anymore. So
Hopefully
just
not. I don't trust Konami.
uh,
I never want them to touch that property ever.
if it was Kojima behind it, sure. But yeah, no, we're not. Since we're not getting any more Metal Gear, it's safe for more developers to
Yeah.
copy certain aspects of the stealth mechanics that Metal Gear.
I mean,
kind of
Metal Gear
developed.
doesn't own stealth mechanics. You can
No,
just
but I mean,
copy
like
it
they
anyway.
did quite a few unique things that
Yeah, they did.
wasn't incorporated before. Because before then, most stealth mechanics were just hide in the tall grass, avoid the obvious line of sight cone area that you can see the bad guys in, or you
I
can
mean,
see where the
even
bad guys
that's
looking.
I don't mind that stuff. My problem is with the instant failure.
Yeah, that
I think
insta-failure was
instead
so
of
dumb.
instant failure, I think there should be punishment if you want to, like, if this is
Yeah.
a stealth section, or if like you are a stealth game, there should be punishment for not stealthing. But like, you could, I think there should always be two options: stealth or guns blazing, or some in
Yeah.
like in like a game where it's like, okay, we're going in this with a open world, because this is what Star Wars Outlaws is, an open world Ubisoft game. And if anyone doesn't know what that means, is that you go out in an open world and there's a lot of icons for you to do. There's a lot of side. There's a bunch. There's things to blow up, things to collect, and towers to climb. There isn't actually towers to climb in Star Wars Outlaws, but like, you know what I mean. Like, there's a lot of map icons and side activities to do, and they're all okay. Calling them cookie cutter is like, I'm not saying they're bad, but I'm just saying like it's Far Cry 3 still. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
I was gonna say,
go ahead.
For certain stealth, for like in certain games when you have a stealth mechanic, if I'd say like you said, punish them if they get caught.
Yeah.
I'd say give them, like, if they spawn, say you're sneaking through an area, someone spots you, a guard spots you.
Yeah.
I don't think necessarily you're completely screwed, because unless they have a radio and immediately just chime in and say stuff, then it's going to take them a bit to notify anyone else that you're here. And by then, that'll give your character a chance to maybe do something.
Like, let them run away.
Like, yeah.
I mean, it's Star Wars
usually,
Outlaws. You're a smuggler. Like, let them run. Why isn't there like a police system? Run away from the Empire. I think there is. I think there. No. Okay, let me rephrase this. I'm pretty sure there is literally a GTA style like star system in this game. Why is there instant failure? Just trigger the star system. Give them full stars and say, now you have to deal with this or try to run away.
Consequences of your actions.
Yeah. And it's just the weirdest thing. And like, the game is, it's like I said at the beginning of this, it's a mid out of 10, which is not what you want a Star Wars game under Disney. And the reason we're talking about this is because when this game came out, Alchem, Ubisoft's stock price fell 9% and has not recovered. And apparently, no, sorry, 7%, not 9%. And it hasn't recovered. And there are talks about Ubisoft switching to a private corporation because of how bad Ubisoft has been doing recently. Because if you don't remember, X-Defiant came out and it's tanking hard, apparently. X-Defiant is tanking really hard and not making money. Outlaws is not doing very well. And Outlaws is an expensive game, unfortunately. Because, well, you had to buy, at bare minimum, you bought the license from Disney, which is expensive. Like, you can't, like, that's just expensive.
Yeah.
And
then you flop it. Yeah, nice job.
Yeah, it was a flop in a bad way, because apparently sales projections were like 50% or lower, like in terms of their sales projections. So like they didn't even make half of what they thought. And do you remember? I don't even think we talked about this, but they also made an Avatar game, like an Avatar Frontiers of Pandora.
The Pandora, yeah, okay.
That also didn't sell very well. Well, okay. It sold okay, but not like what they were expecting, you know? And so, okay. To show how bad the Star Wars Outlaws is doing right now, The second week in the sales charts, it is 28th place. Right?
Mhm.
Concord was 29. That's how bad it's doing right now. Not a good look. Not a good look. So it's really bad. And the funny thing is, Alchem, so I found this out because of this article, a bunch of articles read it. The specific one I found it on it's called That Park Place. And they have a screenshot of the stock price, which is 13 euros. And when I checked it, it's lower. So it's gone lower since this article.
It's how the
It's not good. And it's just in a very downward trend. And there's been people talking about it saying like Ubisoft is tanking hard. And it's unfortunately because they haven't changed in like 10 years. Like I think the fact that a Ubisoft game is a term, and that's been a term for like how long do you think? Like at least
a decade. At least a decade.
At least a decade. Like when did Far Cry 3 come out? Far Cry 3. Far Cry 3 came out in 2012. And okay, Far Cry 3 came out. Far Cry 4 iteration, iteration. I think that's safe to say. Like they iterated on it, but after Far Cry 5, I feel like that's when the Ubisoft games started happening, because that's also when Assassin's Creed became like the Far Cry thing. When Assassin's Creed, what was the Egyptian one? The Origins? Assassin's Creed Origins, I think. Odyssey.
Assassin's Creed Origins.
Wait, was it Odyssey? Yes.
I don't remember.
I think it was Odyssey. It was the one that turned it into an RPG grind fest. And it's just I don't want any company to fail. Like I'd not like, because when a company fails, jobs are lost, and that sucks. It's not like, and the problem is that all these games Ubisoft are making are not bad video games. It's just like Concord. Like Star Wars Outlaws is not a bad video game, but it's not a good video game either. And it's like, the problem is that you made a Star Wars game based off of smuggling, and everyone's been wanting that game for years, decades even, maybe since video games existed and Star Wars existed. People were like, I want to be Han Solo. I want to be Han Solo swindling people,
Mm-hmm.
And what you made was what they made was a open world game that feels like Assassin's Creed with third person shooting mechanics.
So they did the worst possible. They didn't make a bad game. They made a boring game.
They made a boring game, and to be fair,
yeah,
there are people that really enjoy this game. But
mm-hmm.
the problem is that even the people that really enjoy it don't like hide the fact that this is a turn your brain off, like Ubisoft open world game where you can just start ticking stuff off. You can like,
so yeah, it's
you can
buy
just
the books or buy the numbers. Just complete the objective. Check off the notebook.
Do the open world stuff. Objective. Do some story missions. Do some more open world stuff. Do some story missions. Get your upgrades. Get your cosmetics. Get your more upgrades.
You're right. It is just like an RPG kind of style of thing, except yeah.
Well, it's the same formula as Far Cry 3.
Yeah.
And and the worst thing is that apparently the story isn't bad. Like the story is pretty decent, apparently. Mm-hmm. But the problem is that it's in this game that not a lot of people want to play. And apparently the characters are, totally fine with like what's written. Like the characters aren't, like, I'm not saying that this game is gonna like, it's not gonna win like writing of the year or anything like that, but like it's a decent story. and the characters are well written and they're well voice acted, apparently, at least from what I can say and what I can see. And it's unfortunate, and I really hope Ubisoft gets their gear kicked in, because like they need to do something. Like guys, I understand this formula is a good formula, but the formula needs to you need to do iterative changes on this formula, not just copy it, you know? Like I'm totally down for like the Far Cry 3, Far Cry 4, and Far Cry 5. Far Cry 3 and Far Cry 4, iterative I don't know why I can't pronounce this word. Iterative changes on the open world formula game. Right? Maybe not enough changes or like stuff done, but they played it very safe with Far Cry 4. Far Cry 5 was the same thing, but we added co-op. And Far Cry 6 was we had a famous voice actor. Like they just stopped changing the gameplay.
No, they just added just a gimmicky thing to bring people in.
And
usually they think they can do what movies do and have star power. That's it.
Yeah, and to be fair, star power can matter, but the problem is that like unless you're a single player, very short story-based 6-hour campaign style game, star power voice acting only takes you so far, you know? And it's just like I'm sad because I really wanted Star Wars Outlaws to be a cool video game, because Star Wars video games suck. They've sucked for like the past 10 years, basically since EA took over. And there hasn't been really that good ones that I remember since what was the last good Star Wars video game? That's like not over 10 years old.
Yeah, no,
because like I can think of good Star Wars games, but it's like I'm thinking of like Knights of the Republic 1 and 2, Star Wars Republic Commando, Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2.
Battlefront 1 and 2.
But those are all over. But those are all 10 years old. Those are really old now. So like a recent, what's a good recent Star Wars game?
What is that one where you're? I don't know where you play as like Star Killer or what was I forget.
Oh, that Unleashed. That was 360.
Yeah, Unleashed.
That's 10 years ago.
That's still.
Okay, wait. The Jedi one. The one where it's Dark Souls. Yeah, I actually own it.
Exactly. Thank you.
Jedi Survivor. That's the newer one.
Yeah, thank you.
What's the first one?
One I was trying to remember. Yeah.
The first one and the second one.
That one's not too.
Those two are pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
The second one, the problem was that the PC performance was awful, but like the gameplay
that was the only issue. But gameplay was actually really
and the first one was just pretty good. A lot of people's problems with the first one was that they wanted more. You know, like it was a good video game, but they just wanted more. And when your problem is that your players want more of your game, that's a good problem to have. They're like, look, we need to deliver more. That's easy.
Gamers get tired of the same thing over and over. But if you capture lightning in a bottle and they ask for more, then give them more. Give the audience what it wants, because they're your paying audience. But if no one gives a crap about a formulaic thing that you keep repeating over and over, and you keep doing it again and again and again, which is what they did with the Far Cry series
and Assassin's Creed.
Oh my God, Assassin's Creed. Yeah, I forgot about that. I kind of just erase it from my memory. But yes, when you do such a formulaic, boring concept over and over and over again, people eventually just don't care.
Yep.
And it shows.
And when you've also abandoned most of your like primary titles that you're known for, because like, when was the last Splinter Cell game? I don't even know. Like, I actually don't know when the last Splinter Cell game was. Watch Dogs was a terrible mess. Rainbow Six Siege. I mean, Rainbow Six Siege is going well, but like that's not a game. Like
they don't bring a new game. They don't make a new Rainbow Six. They just
there aren't many new players to Rainbow Six Siege anymore. Like there are. Don't get me wrong. There are plenty. There are people trying out the game and stuff, but like that isn't something where you like unless you're making a brand new game, which honestly I don't even think you can, and like I don't know if you can make a new Rainbow Six game anymore because Rainbow Six Siege exists. Like, can you make a Rainbow Six Seven? It has to be a single player game. You can't make another multiplayer one because you're just abandoning Rainbow Six Siege then. And there's so many players that are dedicated to it and still spending money, which is the big deal. There's still people buying stuff in Rainbow Six Siege, so unless they make I guess there was that terrible extraction mode, Rainbow Six Extraction that they did, which
Never even knew that.
Oh, basically it's it's basically Rainbow Six but COD Zombies, but really bad.
I honestly didn't even know that existed.
It technically,
is it even still around?
I think it is still around, maybe. Let me quickly Google
Before it's like it
Rainbow
was a short-lived thing they did.
Siege Extraction. It is still around? Wait.
Oh,
oh my god.
online.
It's a standalone game. I didn't know. I thought it was a game mode. Okay, that's why it sucks. It's Rainbow Six Siege, but it's a PvE co-op shooter, but it's also a $49.99 Canadian dollar game. I thought it was a free-to-play mode on the...
Oh my
That makes
Lord.
sense. That's why it doesn't do very well. It's mixed. It has mixed reviews on Steam. Yeah, most of the I'm just quickly looking at the game, some Steam reviews. Good idea, not good execution. Game feels cheap. It's literally negative review. Literally just Rainbow Six with some extra co-op maps. This would have been a good game if it was from an indie developer. And I don't even see like they don't have like, you know how in Steam there's like recent updates? It doesn't have recent updates, so I don't know if they just haven't updated the game or if they're like hiding them on something on their website or something like that. Because this is the type of game you need to update at least every couple months with like new maps and stuff. But it doesn't look like they've ever updated it since they launched it. Which it launched in 2022, by the way. This game's 2 years old. So yeah. That is that. So that's me being sad about Ubisoft. And I don't know if there's anything really more we can say about
honestly
that.
Unless Ubisoft suddenly gets a new creative kind of change and stops trying to do the formulaic thing where there's nothing, you're just going to keep hearing about either mediocre releases. Maybe they'll every once in a while, maybe another Far Cry. I'm pretty sure Far Cry will still be received well, but honestly,
the problem is it takes a long time to build those games.
That really does.
Because even though it's the same game it's the same game every time, but Far Cry games are still very big open world maps with lots of stuff to do. And even though I was criticizing them for it being the same game over and over again, it still takes a long time to build that game. And Far Cry 7, like Far Cry 6 was pretty recent, wasn't it?
Yeah, Far Cry 6 was about maybe 5 years ago or 6 years ago.
Actually, so it should be. I guess there should be a new one in due any time now then.
Probably, but there hasn't been any like announcement or hint that they're on the works for one. I don't even think they've announced they're working on one yet. But
just rumors. Just rumors.
If they continue the formulaic process, then we're just gonna get the same procedurally generated stuff, following the Ubisoft formula of the hero's journey, and just having that one boisterous, bombastic, or iconic, or star power villain, or some character. And that's it. People will enjoy for a little bit. For the most part, it's just going to be written off as just like, oh, okay, Ubisoft.
Far Cry 6 was 2021, so it's been 3 years.
Okay, 3 years.
Yeah, but
I was off like 2 or 3.
No, but I'm saying like, so they generally take like at least 3 to 5 years to release, right? So when was Far Cry 5? Far Cry 5 was 2018, so 2018, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, so it took about 3 years. So we're actually overdue. So I wonder, honestly, if you were going to do any game to try to reinvent yourself, Far Cry would probably be it, because Far Cry is the game that they reinvented. Far Cry
Yeah.
3 was the game that made the Ubisoft open world game the Ubisoft open world game.
Mhm.
And then the Assassin's Creed, when they turned itself into an RPG, turned it into that. The problem with that one is that you have to grind for you have to play the game for 400 hours to get everything, which is not good unless you buy the single player XP boosts that they sell, which is just a whole other Ubisoft thing that is also a bad thing. But yeah, maybe Far Cry 7 will hopefully be the reinventing of the Ubisoft open world game. Because I do want to emphasize, I don't think the Ubisoft open world game is a bad thing. I just want them to like work on it, you know? Like change something about it. Keep some core elements. Keep the core elements of cool open map, cool fun moments, side activities, main story, but change it up a little bit, you know? Maybe have more linear progression, or make it, I don't know. I don't know. The problem is that I don't really have the answer, because I don't think the whole open world, maybe stop doing the whole open world thing. There's so many open world things nowadays that I feel like the games that are more focused on what they want to do kind of do better nowadays. But
I love how I will agree with you, but at the same time, I just feel like we evolved from getting tired of linear stories that just take maybe a few hours, but it's very choreographed cinematography. The storytelling and story building is really well done, because you're following a singular path.
Yeah.
To we want we wanted a giant open world space and adventure and all this endless possibility. To now, we just want the linear stories again. Give us those back, because
it's because they went too far.
Yeah, because they made this vast, huge, almost state to country big ass maps, and there's nothing to do half the time.
Well, it's not just that. It also turns out that as the gaming audience, as the core gaming audience grows up, they don't have 100 hours anymore to put in a game. You know,
I don't think we ever had 100. Okay, never mind. I can't say that.
I was going to say no. We definitely had 100 hours to put in some games. But now that, to be fair, the core gaming audience is still, still kids. It's still teenagers. But they aren't buying these single player games. Let's just be real.
I don't think the new generation of gamers are buying these long ass stories anymore. They're not going for the marathon stories.
Yeah,
they're not going for 70 plus to 100 plus gaming hours.
Of course, some are, but I think the majority of them are playing multiplayer games or mobile games. Mobile gaming is huge. It's literally the biggest industry ever. Period, almost. But so I don't know, if the core gaming audience, I hate to pull that card out, but they're just older now. They want shorter experiences. They want more focused experiences, I feel like. And I'm not saying stop doing open world, but I'm just saying do open world with 3 things, you can do
I don't know. I just had this idea. Was gaming just a thing that happened at a certain era? We just happen to be at the peak of it, and we're the core group that basically grew. I don't know. Maybe gaming will die down one day.
It won't. Gaming is the biggest. It's literally
because guess what? We'll be old gamers. We'll be old gamers one day, and we'll be like, I remember playing this back then, Billy. I played Elden Ring.
Why are you? We literally already do that, Alchem.
No, but I mean, we'll be like senile and everything. We'll be like, I remember playing against Melina.
We already are that.
No, but I mean, we'll be lame about it.
We are lame. We are lame.
You really. But what I'm saying is,
I know. Sorry, I know.
Yeah, but the whole thing is, this is it's true now as it was back then, and as it will be in 20 years from now. Whenever the future generation encompasses something that the current generation or the new generation thinks is cool, modern, or is the thing, it stops being the thing.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, could that happen with gaming?
It kind of does. It kind of does. Like,
Because
when you think about it, like, okay, for an example, for us, Alchem, because you and I are around the same age, give or take a couple of years, because you refuse to tell me your age.
Yes.
Platforming was really big when we were kids.
Tell me about it.
Like, 3D platforming was really big, but that was also really big when our parents were playing video games. So when we were kids, what happened was, no. First-person shooters on consoles is what's big, you know? And it changed, and that changed, and we were part of the wave that were like, no, we want to play Halo, we want to play Call of Duty, like we were part of that change. And then all of a sudden Mario, while still, or like all the 3D platformers that still sold decent amounts, they were not as big as Call of Duty and Halo and all the first person shooters, you know? So we're like, we were technically already part of something like that. What, are you okay, Alchem? Are you dying?
Always remember to throw out your old cans of like soda. Oh god, I forgot to throw out an old can of soda. I'm like, oh, there's my soda.
You didn't finish it?
I didn't. Apparently, there was just a little bit in there. I'm like, oh, I could eat like a little palate cleanser, and then just like that don't taste right.
But yeah, so I feel like we've already that's already happened a few times. I feel like 2D side scrollers were big. To be fair, that's also because of technology changing, and we're kind of at a point where technology is, it's not that like I feel like it's getting more and more difficult for crazy technology jumps, you know? Like the difference between the original PlayStation and the PlayStation 2 is crazy, you know? Or like the Super Nintendo versus the N64, like the technology jumps are crazy.
You just need to remember that soon we will have wires and chips embedded into our skulls, and we'll be able to access the internet immediately, and then people will be able to upload like gigabytes of porn in your brain all at once.
That already happens.
I'm waiting for the day that actually happens.
That already happens. It's called the regular internet.
Why is my phone full of so much porn?
But yeah.
Why does she have a dick? Wait, huh? What? Go on.
Look, you can be into whatever you're into, Alchem. I won't judge you.
Okay, smartass. But no, it's just one of those things. I feel
like we've lived through that, Alchem. I think I agree with you. I think we've already it's an evolving market, you know?
Like I said, it is true now as it was back then, and it's going to be true later, that current gaming trends or current gaming era will be considered like obsolete, lame, or just like
any
retro.
Any other acronym that you can think of.
Yeah, I'm just thinking right now. Like,
I mean, technically,
like God willing, like me and Mia are together for forever. Like I hope. And I have little Tanuki bundle of joy somewhere. I'll be like,
oh God,
look, Billy. I'm not gonna name him Billy, but look, Billy. I used to play Halo, and it was awesome. And look, you were the Master Chief. Even to be like, just be on their phone, like, yeah, sure. Like you just hear Clash of Clans starting up or some shit. I don't know. They're just playing whatever is the new modern thing.
I like to think. I like to think that even then, Clash of Clans is still there.
Yeah, I don't know why I was like, yeah, sure thing, Grandpa. I just hear the Clash of Clans theme just
as he pushes your wheelchair. Sure thing, Grandpa. Sure thing.
Yeah, sure thing. That sure is lame. Like, and this is why I must never let my spawn know that I was a VTuber. They must never know.
There's way too much evidence of it. You can't hide it forever.
This is why I don't want to blow up, because if I blow up, then I'll be like, oh, explain to this poor child why their fucking dad was a little Tanuki VTuber one. Oh my lord.
I can't wait to show them Let It Go.
Oh, fuck you.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah. But no, it's like
I feel like we do go through ebbs and flows of the market, and I feel like right now we're at a point where it's unfortunately cost-cutting measures right now for a lot of
Mm-hmm.
companies. And I feel like more
I
focused experiences is exactly what Ubisoft needs. We don't need a 300-hour Assassin's Creed. Give us like a 20-hour Assassin's Creed with a good story and some good gameplay moments. Like we don't need that. We don't need the
Sure,
300 Assassin's Creed.
I honestly feel like they just should take a page from Nintendo over the years
Mm.
because Nintendo's literally showed it. You
Yeah.
don't need the highest end resolution. You don't need all the money in the world. You don't need the
Well,
most amazing cinegraphic kind of show.
Nintendo does
You
have
don't
all the
even
money in
need
the world.
star power.
Nintendo does have all the money in the world, to be fair, but like I agree with
Yeah,
you.
but they barely even like some of the shit they make doesn't even look like it would have cost them like as much as some of the stuff that Sony and Microsoft have put out.
Well, yeah, I don't. Do you think so? I mean, Odyssey still looks amazing in terms of graphics.
Okay, Odyssey did look really, really.
Odyssey
great.
looks amazing.
And that was like their of course that's their flagship.
Yeah. I mean, and like
Hmm.
even even the oh god, the Mario RPG,
Yeah.
the newer one, not the re-release, the newer one, like that still
Mothership?
looked, yeah, like that looked pretty good.
I want it so badly.
No, not Brothership,
Oh,
the new one, the
there's a new
older new
RPG?
one,
You mean the remake?
no, it wasn't there a Paper Mario game that came out recently that wasn't the new one?
Oh, you mean yeah, I know what you're talking
It
about.
it wasn't
I
Thousand
forget
Year
the name
Door.
of
It was the other one. I'm pretty sure I
No,
saw
it's-
you play.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, I did. I just
Okay.
don't remember the name of
Yeah,
it.
I don't remember that. Like that one looked pretty good. Like you can argue about
Yeah.
the gameplay, but like the graphics of Nintendo games by Nintendo are have always been good. Like arguably the only ones that are arguably kind of weird are the Zelda ones, Tears of the Kingdom and Link and Breath of the Wild, but that's not because of what they look like. It's because when you start moving the camera, the frame rate drops. But like the actual art style and graphics are still good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think like they still have a lot of, and they also have like a crazy amount of talent as well. Like it's, I think it's because what Nintendo does, what everyone else doesn't, is they
You actually did it. I was like, you're gonna do Nintendo
I did.
does. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I
What
did.
everyone else doesn't. Okay.
Is they just make they have an idea and they say, let's just do it. You know, someone at Nintendo in a meeting said, what if Mario has a talking hat and throws it on stuff and you become it? And instead of saying that's dumb, they said, well, maybe let's make a prototype and then let's see what that is. And then just exploded from there, you know? Like, what if we made Zelda open world, even though it's tiny even open world? What if we make it super open world? You know? Or like, what if we made Mario but XCOM and let's get the Rabbids guy in there? Like how do Nintendo just does stuff, you know? And I think part of the reason is Nintendo's just willing to say, yeah, let's do it. And like, for instance, the Mario and Rabbids game, that's a really good game. And like, it's not a long game, you know? Like, I'm sure it cost a decent amount of money to make, but like, that's just video games. Video games cost money to make. And I'm sure that I don't think that Mario and Rabbids budget was bloated. Like, I feel like some of these game budgets are.
No. Yeah.
And I think they're just smarter at like saying, hey, we make video games that are going to cost money. So let's make sure that we know what the game is going to be, or like we know what we want. You know what I mean? Because obviously, you know, not every Nintendo game is amazing. You know, there are hits and misses. Unfortunately, I can't really think of a Nintendo game that's been bad recently. Is there a Nintendo game that's been bad recently? I can think of games that have been bad on the Nintendo Switch, but I don't think they were made by Nintendo.
By Nintendo themselves, besides Mario, besides the previous Mario, not this current one that came out, but the previous one, or when they did the whole remaster or remake, that one was kind of bad.
For what?
Because they kind of remade Mario Party 1 and 2.
Oh, right.
And it was bad because it had terrible online.
Yeah.
And no one really could. It was basically unplayable online.
Right,
And
right.
since then they've improved a lot about that.
Yeah. I actually can't think of Nintendo game. Okay, wait. Bad Nintendo games. Worst mainline Nintendo game.
Turok? No. Turok was good.
I guess
Conker's Bad Fur Day? No, Conker's Bad
Wii
Fur Day
Music
was
was
okay.
pretty bad, but that's not really a mainline, I don't think.
That's the Wii Music was not. I don't consider it a
I
game. I
don't
think
think
that's just a
that's
showcase of the
okay.
what you can do with it.
This might start a this might become a whole new topic, but I'm going to say it anyway. Do we count? Okay, Nintendo owns this, so it's not whether they own or that's whether or not they own it or not, because they are part of Nintendo. The modern Pokemon games, are they bad video games?
See, I was avoiding saying anything about that. That's why I didn't want to bring it up. But
Because that could be an entire
I
topic on its
feel
sense.
I feel like they're starting to go. I feel like they're starting to, like we said with Far Cry. I feel like they're starting to just follow a formulaic system. Like it's always been the same goal always, or
Yeah.
go to this place, go to this place. Granted, the latest one gave you
The latest
options you
one, the
didn't
latest
just
one
have.
did open up the world quite a bit, though
Yeah.
there still is a linear path that the game wants you to take. You don't have to
Mhm.
take it, but it does want you to take
No.
a linear path.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing with the
Exactly.
Pokemon games is that the engine is really bad, but like,
That's
is the
one thing
game
everyone noticed.
bad? I don't know. I mean, the gameplay of Pokemon is the best thing about Pokemon, but like
Mhm.
the engine just can't handle it. I also don't
Yeah.
particularly. I prefer. The problem is that like people always do the comparison of the original pixel art to the new 3D models, and people always think, oh, they want the pixel art back. And my response to that is that the reason the models look so not bad, but like look so weird now is because the engine can barely handle them animating them doing anything. So like we've seen the models look great in other things other than the Pokemon games because the models can actually be animated to do things.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
Pokemon Tournament really made them
Yeah,
shine.
I mean,
Honestly.
like just anything. Anything outside of the
And
mainline Pokemon games, they can be animated to do things.
beautifully. They
Yeah.
look beautiful. But in the mainline game, they just kind of just
My biggest problem
and
with
then they
Pokemon
fall over.
games, yeah, my biggest problem with the Pokemon games is the engine. Not necessarily the games themselves, which I guess is technically the game if you really we're gonna start getting really technically on this. I think my problem with the Pokemon games is they're not as good as I think they should be. But because they're the best selling property in the universe.
Hmm.
But okay. Let's think. I guess would you consider Skyward Sword a bad one? A lot of people did not like those
Um,
motion controls.
the motion control is the game was fine. That's why when they remade it, it did well. It's just that people didn't like the periphery. I mean, no one liked the Wii U was their worst selling console. The
Yeah.
Wii was great. Everyone did not like the Wii U because of the weird motion
Well,
control
Skyward
tablet
Sword
thing
was
that they
Wii, wasn't it?
no, Skyward Sword was Wii U.
I
If I'm
thought it
not
was
mistaken.
Wii. No, I thought it was Wii U, or I thought it was Wii
Maybe
because
Okay.
the motion controls was the wand.
The one was a motion, but no, the tablet also had motion control too, where you had to
Was
like
it?
move it around and stuff. Let me just double check
Yeah,
something
I'm
about
gonna.
when it came out.
Yeah, Skyward Sword video game. It came out on the Wii,
On the Wii? Yeah. On the Wii,
2011.
okay. Original release on the Wii.
2011
No.
action adventure developed
Ah,
by and published by Nintendo for the Wii. It is out on Switch
really?
and the Wii U, but it was originally released on the Wii. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was Twilight Princess that came out on the Wii, and then Skyward Sword came out on the Wii U.
Well,
But I guess it was
Twilight Princess came out on the GameCube and the Wii.
huh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. You're supposed to be the Nintendo person, not me. How do I know this and you don't?
don't shame me about it. Listen. Zelda was like the one. Zelda was
Yeah.
honestly one of the ones I just didn't play that much.
Funny enough, Zelda
Actually,
is
they
the
were
one
beat.
Nintendo thing I did play. I played a bunch of Zelda games.
Damn, and I didn't.
What about okay? I did you apparently I've seen some people say Star Fox Command on the post that I'm
Oh
looking up.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
I don't know what that game is, I'll be honest.
hold on. Let me double check if that's the one I'm thinking of.
I also see people saying Metroid Other M.
Metroid Other M. People didn't like Metroid Other M because they just didn't like the direction that because it wasn't Nintendo. It wasn't Nintendo that took over the reins for that one for the story.
Yeah,
it was another
the
team.
Ninja people, wasn't it?
Yeah, Team Ninja, I think it was.
Yeah.
Let's see. Star Fox Command was the one where, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's where you fight like against a lot of other characters. Like they all split off into different groups and so. Let me just double check.
But yeah, I mean, the fact that we have to dig this deep to find bad Nintendo games does say something.
Yeah, this
They
is
do
old.
they do generally just make pretty good video games.
Yeah.
And like I feel like the fact that it's also one of those things where they don't release games every single year. I mean, honestly, if we're going back on the Pokemon thing, one of the worst things about Pokemon is the games have to come out every year, so I feel like they just don't have enough time to work on the games. You know?
Yeah.
Pokemon is the only Nintendo franchise that comes out yearly, and it's the only franchise and I feel like it's, in terms of the just the video game itself, just the video games, it is the weakest out of all the Nintendo properties. Outside of the video game, Pokemon obviously is ginormous and crazy successful, and I think the best thing Nintendo has done. But if we're just talking about purely about the video games, it's definitely the shakiest. Yeah. So it was true. We did go off on a tangent about that. While you're okay, have you found the Star Fox Command game? Is it what you're thinking of?
I think so. Yeah, it is. It's the one that happened after Assault, and I actually really like the Assault. Command just happens to have some goofy storyline that involves all of them having to go against each other. I don't remember the full story because I never played it, but apparently it from what I remember back then, it was just such a bare bones game, and just the story felt lackluster. So most people just really didn't like it. And if I remember also correctly, it was a DS exclusive, so it already had that against it too, because people. It was at the. I think it was at the end of the lifespan of the DS. But yeah, it was the worst of the Star Fox franchise, and probably what marked it from never making new Star Foxes ever again. They just kept rehashing the old ones over and over and over.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, damn. Now I remember this game.
Yeah. Okay.
Why?
So the moral of the story is, be Nintendo and just make good video games every like 3 to 5 years. Stop making games so often and change it up. You never know, it might be crazy successful. I hope Ubisoft makes
good games
again, and I want them to do something different. If Star Wars isn't enough to keep the Ubisoft game going, it needs to change. Because if Star Wars can't do it, nothing else can. I'm sorry. Going with games that are old or maybe coming back or changing it up. I have to ask what your history is on this, Alchem, but have you played / enjoyed any of the Tony Hawk games? Yeah.
Played the originals and stuff.
Nice.
They were a lot of fun.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Tony Hawk.
American Wasteland.
I really enjoyed Pro Skater 4 personally.
Yeah, Pro Skater. Yeah. I think all the Tony Hawks were great. And then when you got to American Wasteland, that's where the start of the decline started to happen.
See, funny enough, I was one of the people that played Pro Skater 4 and then
Yeah.
Started playing Skate instead.
Yeah, because it was around the time of either Underground or American Wasteland
Yeah.
where
You see, I never
you
played
had
those two.
Skate appear.
Yeah.
You know,
Instead of going those two games, I bought Skate. Because I was
I
more
remember
interested. I was more
playing
interested in
American
Skate.
Wasteland, but then I just skipped Underground, and by then I think the whole skateboarding trend for gaming died down.
It definitely did, especially after Skate 3. It kind of came back relatively recently because of a couple games. And Skate 4 is still in the works, apparently, at some point. They literally had an announcement a couple months ago saying, we're still working on it, guys. It's not canceled. But the reason I'm bringing that up again is because Tony Hawk himself had an interview during one of the things he was doing, and the person interviewing him asked about the game franchise, the Pro Skater series.
Mm-hmm.
And Tony Hawk revealed that he is in talks with Activision again, and he can't say anything else. He did confirm that the interviewer joked about it being like you plugged into the metaverse with your plugs and into your port, and he said, okay, it's not that. But basically said he's in talks with Tony Hawk is in talks with Activision again, and we'll see what happens from that. I don't know if you know this. Did you play the remake of Pro Skater 1 and 2?
I played it, yes.
Did you know that there was a planned remake, Pro Skater Remake 3 and 4?
I think I heard something about it, but I don't think that 1 and 2 did well enough for them to go ahead with that plan.
It's not that it didn't do well enough. What happened is Vicarious Visions, the people who made Pro Skater 1 and 2, were merged into Blizzard to support the Diablo franchise. So the people that were making Pro Skater 3 and 4 were scrapped, basically. They got different jobs. They merged into Blizzard. And so that project was canceled.
Damn.
And Tony Hawk has said before that he'd love to revive that again. That's in a different interview. But he did say that he wished that he could have done more to try to get that project going.
Mm-hmm.
And like the direct quote is, I wish there was some way to bring it back, talking about Pro Skater 3 and 4 remakes. And he also said during this interview that he wouldn't elaborate, that something might be planned for the 25th anniversary for it. And he wished he could tell you more. But he teased that whatever it ends up being, it will be something the fans will truly appreciate. So we'll see what that comes up with. Okay. I think overall I enjoyed the gameplay of Skate 1 and 2 more than the Pro Skater series, but I really enjoyed like the almost like mission system of the Pro Skater things, of like doing all the objectives, like collecting all the skates, doing all the tricks, finding all the like objectives to do on the maps. Like I really enjoyed that part of it. If it was purely skateboarding, I really enjoyed Skate 1 and 2 because it was just so much more grounded, and it let me skateboard without hurting myself, which is why I stopped skateboarding. But I hope it's good, especially now that Activision isn't headed by a crazy person.
For me, if it keeps the same gameplay, same mechanics, it feels the same. Yeah. The only thing I really do hope is that they go out of their way to get a really good lineup of songs.
Yeah, they'd probably have to try to. I mean, Tony Hawk has talked about how he cares about the soundtracks of the games. So that's probably, I mean, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 had the same songs. I don't remember them changing the songs, if I remember correctly.
Oh, they added a few, if I'm not mistaken.
I think, I was going to say, I think they added new songs.
Yeah.
I think the original soundtrack is still there, plus extra songs.
And that's one thing you don't see that often, where most of the time it's a new sound. Like recently, I had the experience of playing a quote unquote remaster of a game I like.
Yeah,
They changed the songs up,
zombie,
and I was so hurt.
Lollipop Chainsaw.
They changed the song, Jelly. Why'd they change the song? Why?
Unfortunately,
it didn't hit the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't hit the same.
It's okay, Alchem. It's okay.
No, it isn't. I refunded it.
I mean, if you don't, hey, that's your right. If you don't, I wasn't gonna play that game because I never played the original game. It was funny.
I mean, one Suda 51 makes, and I would recommend a lot of them. Killer 7. No More Heroes.
Sorry, Alchem. You're gonna have to restart that sentence. I either lagged or you lagged.
I probably lagged. I was gonna say I would highly recommend any of the Suda 51 games. He's made quite a few. Killer 7 is definitely one of the GOAT ones of his games. No More Heroes is definitely a lot of fun.
The one I know the most is No More Heroes. I never played them, but I watched you play them.
Yeah, I always just keep going back to them because it's just, the boss fights are so much fun. I really wish that he would put, or at least him or the game devs would just add a boss rush mode. Like sometimes I just enjoy the bosses a lot more than I do the levels.
Understandable. But you could always get that as an extra thing when you beat the game, a boss rush mode.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
I understand not having that at the beginning, but at least after you beat the game once,
at the very end,
it could be a cool unlock.
Give us a boss. Yeah, or at least I enjoy games that have like a where you can save and you can have a list of saves. So I'll just be like,
oh yeah,
boss. This is the boss save. This
So you can
do the second boss.
Uh-oh.
But yeah. Oh
God, Alchem, are you go back?
Are
you alive?
Oh God, am I alive? Are you alive? You disappeared for a second.
Did I'm not lagging on my. I don't see any internet problems from my end, but it could be. I don't know. We'll see.
Jelly's like, I don't know. I feel kind of fun, and then just vanishes out of thin air.
I feel kind of weird, Mr. Stark.
Mr. Stark, I don't know. I don't feel weird. I don't feel so good.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see if something else happens from that. I'm still on the fence about Skate 4. I really wish Skate 1, 2, and 3 could be played on PC. I really hope one day they release those on PC because I'd love to play those games on PC. With a controller. You have to have controller support, obviously, but
yeah.
And being able to have modern resolution settings for those games, because I don't know if you know, Alchem, those games show the age of when they were released. If you look on them nowadays,
absolutely.
Skate 3 has a maximum resolution of like 720p, I think, because the maps were so massive for the time. But yeah, so that was a quick story about I hope this is true. I don't think obviously Tony Hawk isn't lying, but like I hope it's true that, we will enjoy this thing. To be fair, he did really enjoy the peripheral thing that they made that one time. He really thought it was good.
No, I mean, you can see during the era of those games, he was involved.
Yeah.
He really liked what he was doing with that.
No matter whether or not I agree with Tony Hawk or not, I agree that he thinks all the things that they're doing is good. And that's all that matters. If he thinks it's good, then I'm glad that he is continuing to do what he's doing. I can disagree with him, but that's fine. I don't have to like every single product that he makes. Now, please let me watch those videos that you released on your YouTube channel that you don't let me watch anymore. There's a series of, I can't remember if they're kind of like they're kind of like pseudo movies called Tony Hawk's Secret Skate Park Tour, and there's like 3 of them from like the early 2000s, and I can't find them
Huh.
anymore, and it makes me sad, and I want to watch them, and I can't find them anymore, and I don't know. I can't find them being sold anywhere either, and it makes me sad. Basically, which you can't, because the concept you can't do anymore because the technology doesn't let it. Because he would do these in the early 2000s, where he would just show up with a bunch of himself and a bunch of other pro skaters and just skate local parks, which obviously you can't do anymore because there's just too much, like, that'd be too much. But like in the early 2000s that was 100% doable because like the internet wasn't as big, so not everyone had access to the internet and cell phones and everything like that. So because you can even see that in the later ones. But yeah, anyway, speaking, we're kind of like on a old school games, but hey, Alchem, did you ever play Flappy Bird? Oh, Alchem, he's dying.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I just bashed my head on my desk. What did
Because
you
of
say?
Did you ever play Flappy Bird?
Um.
Are you failing in
Uh.
Flappy Bird right now? Are you failing? Oh,
What
he's hit
happened?
the pipe. He hit the pipe again. He hit the pipe.
Stop saying that word.
But the story is about this game, Alchem, because
Okay.
it's back.
What's back?
Flappy Bird is back. Oh, he's hit his head again.
Stop. Oh, I'm getting hit with nostalgia. Oh, stop it. The physical nostalgia hurts.
but Alchem, Flappy Bird.
Oh, my head. Oh, ow.
But don't you like Did you like Flappy Bird?
Oh, god damn it.
I'm just gonna keep saying the name until you stop this bit. You can't stop me.
Okay, so I never got into it like everyone else did. I played it off
like
a friend's phone one time.
Yeah, I played off a friend's phone as well.
Yeah, I was like, this is it? This is all you're doing? And I kept going while I kept bitching about it. I was like, this is stupid, kept going. And
yeah.
It was dumb as hell. But thankfully, I never downloaded myself on my own phone. But yeah. I saw everyone playing it. And then one day, it soared to incredible heights that everyone was playing it. And people were trying to get the records and stuff.
Yep.
And then one day, it vanished.
Yep. The dev deleted the game. When the world
needed him. Yeah, when the world needed it the most, it vanished.
Yep.
And enlighten everyone on what happened with the details and what has happened lately.
Well, Flappy Bird is back, but it's not by the original dev, and the original dev is not involved in any way because
I didn't think so.
because he let the trademark run out of the game, and so just a random company now owns it and is relaunching it, and it is filled to the brim with mobile game stupid stuff.
Yep. So I was surprised at the guy who made Flappy Bird originally said, "I regret what I've done. I regret making this."
The funny thing is the reason
I never want us to.
Yeah,
come
do you know the reason? He gave a reason why he deleted the game.
Wasn't it because he saw the impact it had on people?
Yeah,
and he didn't want to be associated with that.
Not just that, he saw the addiction people had to this game, and it made him feel really bad that he was like feeding into people's addictions. Like he caused this addiction to people, and he deleted the game because he felt so guilty about it. And now the game is a mobile game that's literally designed to feed people's gambling addictions. Like it's literally the exact thing that he would hated.
No, he did it out of regret of the monster he created, and unfortunately, he forgot that you have to keep your monster in check.
Yeah,
and by that I mean like you have to keep renewing the copyright, even if you're not doing anything. No,
it's not copyright technically. It was a trademark.
It's trademark. Yeah, it was a trademark. You have to keep refreshing the trademark for it. Otherwise, it then just if you choose to get your hands off it, if you choose not to do anything with it, and people can be like, "Oh, cool, dibs."
Yeah,
that's exactly what happened. What do they do with it? They just shoved all this bloatware and typical gaming, mobile gaming nonsense on it.
Yep.
And I don't think it's going to do as well as it did back then, because today, this era is a different breed.
It's definitely different.
Who knows? I don't know. Maybe it'll suddenly soar to new heights and everyone will start playing that horrible, wretched game about that horrible, wretched bird. That'll be terrible.
Yeah, so okay, wait. I need to quickly look up this company because it's very funny if this is true. So Alchem, the original creator, Doug.
Yeah.
Oh God, he's Vietnamese. I'm pretty sure he's
Vietnamese.
Nguyen. Yeah, Nguyen. He hasn't tweeted since 2017. Right?
Man went
he
off the
disappeared
grid.
from he disappeared from the internet.
Yeah.
16 hours ago, he tweeted.
Yeah. I'm so sorry.
He said, "No, I have no related with their game. I did not sell anything. I also don't support crypto." Do you want to know why he added that last part?
Because it's crypto, isn't it?
Because Game Tech Holding LLC, the company that now owns Flappy Bird, is a crypto company.
Of course it is.
It is
of course it is.
It is a straight up tech bro crypto company. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, we're gonna get a Flappy Bird NFT. That NFT.
I'm glad I know this about you now because there's so many things I can do to you now.
I thought it was gone. I thought we never will see it again. But
you know what you know what the fun? I'm about to age myself, Alchem. Do you want to know why I played this Flappy Bird game on someone else's phone?
Yeah. No, enlighten me, please.
I didn't own a phone. I didn't have a phone. I didn't have a phone, and I didn't have a cell phone in any way.
Where's your phone? Where's your phone, Jelly?
I didn't. Not everyone had one at the time.
Not everyone. Why you no phone?
No one. Not everyone had one.
Where's your Canadian phone? Pull out your Canadian phone. What happened?
Look, the first phone I had was one of those ones that had
a Leaf.
No, it was well, actually, funny enough, I did pretend my phone was a Leaf for a while when people kept asking.
Okay.
But it was a slide phone, one that slid and the keyboard was under it, because it wasn't a smartphone.
What?
I didn't own a smartphone for a while.
Let's see. Okay.
I can't find anything about
dodge that horrid, wretched game.
I didn't. I played it on other people's phone.
Oh God.
The funny thing is, Alchem, I actually can't find anything about this company.
Good. It's bad.
I mean, probably, but like it's so funny because let me it is, where did it go? Where I saw this somewhere. Yes, okay, sorry. The project's leader is connected to a crypto firm. That's why. So the person who is the lead person on the new Flappy Bird game apparently owns a crypto firm. So this is it is going to be very interesting when this game comes out, because it's not out yet. It's returning this autumn apparently.
It's terrible.
It's okay. I'll keep you up to date on this story. You know, you don't have to worry about that. And the sad thing is that it just like he just the original creator just let this. Unfortunately, I do feel like it's one of those things where I kind of wish that he kind of just, even though I understand that he hates this thing, I wish that he fought them, because he could have. He could have fought the trademark and tried to renew the trademark when they tried to steal it from him, and he probably would have won. But because he wants nothing to do with this, he just didn't. No. And like, I don't know, man. It's one of those things where I understand where he's coming from, and like, it's not his fault, because he wants nothing to do with it. But like, if his problem was that he didn't want people to get addicted, like, this game is literally designed for people to get addicted to it. And even worse, so now it's also designed to get the, you know, the whole dopamine and all that type of stuff. So I don't know. I don't blame him, obviously, because it's not his fault, because he can't control what other people do. But I don't know how this is going to go, because it also, okay, so in their announcement of this game, they say they're working with the original creators. The original creator just said that he's not involved in any way. Like, what do they mean by that?
I mean, they're obviously just lying to get
They're
people to
obviously
think,
just,
look,
they're
still...
lying, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. And Alchem, I have one more story for us today. And I decided I couldn't remember if I talked to you about this. I honestly couldn't remember. So I decided to bring it up because I wanted to end on something positive. Right? Do you know Hippo Games? Hoppo Games.
No, I'm not.
Hoppo Games. HOPOO Games.
Are we talking about, is it the one with the Penguin Hotel? Was that?
No.
No, then I'm thinking of something else. Then no, I'm not familiar with him.
They are the creators of Risk of Rain.
Oh.
They now work for Valve and are working on an unannounced project.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah. And so they tweeted this September 2nd, so it's been a little bit. Today we have an exciting update. Duncan and Paul, alongside many other talented members at Hoppo Games, will be now working on a game development directly at Valve Software. We're incredibly grateful to Valve for their partnership in the last decade. We're excited to continue working on their awesome titles. However, this does mean we will stop production on our unannounced game Snail. It's been an exciting transformation for 12 years. We feel lucky for the opportunities we've had and deeply appreciated both our teams and fans that we've supported our games. We love making games and will continue to do so for years to come. We're excited to be working side by side with the talented people at Valve, but for now, sleep tight, Hoppo Games. So Hoppo Games technically is no more because they are now just employees of Valve. I think.
So they've been merged into Valve. Got it.
Well, yeah. Valve said, hey, do you want to make a game for us? And they said, yeah, we do. And then, yeah. So,
Hey,
the
good
reason
for
I want
them,
to talk to you
honestly.
about this is because I want to talk to you about what we think this game is going to be. Because Valve has a way of... It's almost like old school Blizzard, where they see a game idea and then expand on it. Like how World of Warcraft was not an original idea. It was an expanded idea off of the original EverQuest. You know, Overwatch is an expanded idea of Team Fortress 2. Hearthstone is simple magic, you know. And same with like StarCraft and Warcraft being iterative games on like the original Command and Conquer and Dune and all that stuff for RTS games. So, I mean, these guys made Risk of Rain 2. They have to be making a roguelike, right? A Valve hasn't made a roguelike. Like, when you think of the Valve properties, even like recently Deadlock, they're fighting the third-person shooter market for Deadlock with MOBA. They have Dota 2 for a MOBA. They have Team Fortress 2, kind of. It still exists, kind of, in the hero shooter. And they have Counter-Strike 2. So the only game genre, really, other than MMO, but I don't think Valve should make an MMO because it just doesn't work with their work ethic. Like, it doesn't work with their company structure.
Yeah, no.
It has to be a roguelike, right? Like, they have to be making a roguelike. And I'm so interested to see what Valve thinks roguelikes need, you know? Because, like, Valve has always had this thing of, like, they made Half-Life, and they revolutionized single-player first-person shooters, stories. Made Half-Life 2, another very big revolutionary game. Took a break, made Dota. Made Team Fortress 2, made Counter-Strike. To be fair, they hired a bunch of people for that, and it wasn't just Valve. They merged technically with other people.
Yeah.
And then years later, they're like, oh, by the way, VR is a thing. Here's Half-Life Alyx. and then like a year later from that, oh by the way, we're not making more VR games. We're actually making a third person MOBA game. Like they almost have the Nintendo thing. Like they have the Nintendo thing of where they just decide to make something. So I'm like, what does Valve think roguelikes need? Because like roguelikes are pretty a defined genre nowadays. And I mean, you bringing in the Risk of Rain guys, and they made 2 really good roguelikes. I'm so curious what they think roguelikes need. Because obviously I'm like, okay, I think it is a safe assumption that they're making a roguelike, right?
Yeah. That's a safe assumption to do.
Because they just bought most of the devs. They just hired most of the devs that made Risk of Rain. You know? So, like, of course, they're making a roguelike. But what is the Valve touch that they're adding to this?
Yeah,
what's the Valve part of this game?
Yeah, what could they be doing to make a unique Valve-like roguelike? And I don't know.
The scary thing is I don't know. And like it's not scary, but like the thing is like I honestly don't know.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking, how can you innovate? But then I'm like thinking, it's Valve. They're gonna do something unique.
They're gonna try something out, or they're gonna have a suit. Like it's either they're gonna
Risk of Rain developers.
Yeah,
so
they're gonna try something.
It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, they're either gonna try something we can't think about, obviously, because they're Valve and they'll think about it.
Cannot even fathom what they're gonna do.
Or they're gonna go like the Dota 2 route, where Dota 2 is not anything new when it comes to a MOBA, but it is just incredibly refined. You know? Same with Counter-Strike 2. But even then, I think there's probably still tons of things in roguelikes that you can do. It's just we haven't thought of them, and Valve did, and they thought, who do we need for this? And they said the Risk of Rain devs. Especially after they sold Risk of Rain 2 to Gearbox. I don't know, man. I'm interested. I mean, Deadlock is a really fun game, so I'm kind of interested in whatever. The only reason I didn't play Half-Life Alyx is because I have the Vive wands, and those games were just simply not made for that. So, like, and I like Counter-Strike 2. I know that's a controversial opinion for some people, but I'm just interested in what Valve does as a gaming all of a sudden, Valve makes video games again, and it's kind of weird.
I know, right?
I mean, all of a sudden all of a sudden everyone's like, oh wait a minute, we made a
VR game a while back. Look, we made a fucking MOBA.
Valve's a video game developer.
Yeah.
Valve makes video games? I thought they just made Steam.
And they're good?
Yeah.
What
is happening? Next thing you know, Blizzard's gonna start making good video games again. I'm kidding. That's never gonna happen.
Next thing you know, we're gonna get another Tony Hawk game or something. Oh wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Oh God. It's all coming back. It's all coming back.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Flappy Birds came back.
Flappy Birds came back too. No, Alchem. No, your poor head.
Actually, I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I'm so interested. The problem is that I'm so sad because it's guaranteed this game is gonna be, it's like 2-3 years away, you know? Like it's probably a long time away, unfortunately. Because it's Valve. So like they're gonna take their time. Like when they think it's ready to reveal to the public, they will. Like even Deadlock, that was so blatantly out in the open, they didn't publicly talk about it for like 3 months or something like that until
it's not even out yet.
Yeah, it's not even. It's still an invite-only public test alpha or something like that.
I know. I'm just like the. Fuck?
I am finally glad they made that service 24/7 because that was really annoying.
Yeah. Now I can play at all hours, at every peak moment, and I can get my ass kicked. Oh, actually, man, that was crazy. But yes, I still like. They make VR. It's a hit. They made a MOBA recently. It isn't even out, and it's already a hit.
Yep.
Now they got the devs from
Risk
Risk
of
of
Rain.
Rain, and it obvious they're going to make a MOBA. You're right. Now,
Roguelike, not
this,
MOBA.
yeah, sorry, I said so. Roguelike, but I'm just like, oh,
What is the Valve
this is going to
touch?
be peak.
What is
Yeah,
the
this is
Valve?
going
What
to be
is the
peak.
Valve sauce that they're putting into a roguelike? I'm just so
I,
curious what they think they need to
like,
do for roguelikes to have the roguelike genre like have another step up, or
like
their spin on it.
I've learned not to have high hopes from devs, especially
Yeah.
since time and time again I've been shown that one dev may have a really hit game, they may
Yeah.
have really good standards, but then next game comes out and it's like, what happened to your standards? What happened to your game? This thing is terrible compared to previous.
Yeah.
And so I've
There,
learned
there
not to
are
have faith
very
in
few
developers.
companies that I would say there's an exception to that rule. Valve is a cautionary exception to that because we should never forget Artifact. We should never forget Artifact.
Oh,
But
oh yeah.
but one game that's been bad compared to all the other games they've made. And to be fair, Artifact wasn't necessarily poorly. It was poorly designed, not poorly made. The game still, like, you could still launch it and everything worked, but you know. I mean, look, I'm not saying that you should always be cautious when it comes to video games because developers can have the best intentions, especially in big companies like Valve, because Valve is a big company. We can't lie to there. Just because they pretend they're a small company, they're not. They're I don't know if are they $1 billion company? I don't think so. They're definitely a multi-million-dollar company, so I'll say that. But I am very interested in what they think roguelikes need. Because I don't know what they like. There are some like I think roguelikes are pretty fun. I enjoy most roguelikes. Funny enough, I don't really enjoy the original roguelikes because I'm not a huge fan of Binding of Isaac. But the newer ones I like. But I don't know. I'm just so interested in what they think they need, you know? I don't know. But that is all I had for today. That's all my stories done, Alchem. I'm out of stories. I'm out. I shot my load.
Oh. Okay.
Let me just, as I say that, let me get closer to you.
Get away from me, you. Get away from me. No.
So, is there anything else you wanted to talk about, or shall we end here?
Nah, because the news I heard recently is just more political BS. But
okay, yeah, we don't. Yeah, sure, we don't need to talk about that. Okay, well then, do shout outs, Alchem. Do shout outs.
Hi, my name is Alchem. I am a. Oh, but okay. Well, so guys, as we're wrapping up the podcast, my name's Alchem. I'm the little Tanuki VTuber who co-hosts the Two Buds One podcast here alongside Jelly. I am a VTuber by nature. You can find me on Twitch. You can find me on YouTube. I also post stuff on TikTok and on Twitter from time to time, where I just goof around, play my games, talk whatever I'd like to talk about, and just enjoy myself. Because honestly, VTubing is one of the coolest hobbies I've gotten to do, and I'm still having fun with it. And people apparently like what I do.
Oh gosh, no, welcome.
So. You guys are more than welcome to. What?
Sorry,
am I disappearing again?
I lagged a little bit there. Either you or there's something. Don't worry, we got most of the outro. Do the last part of the outro again.
But yeah, as I was saying, and I just enjoy my games, have my fun, and hey, if people want to support me, they're more than welcome to. I have a Patreon. I have a coffee link. You can just sub or donate through Twitch or whatever you'd like to do. But more importantly, I just hope you enjoy any future streams. That's all. Now, take it away, Jelly.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I am the Techno Jelly. Please go over, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm getting closer and closer to 700 subscribers, which is very exciting. I do mostly news reports / video essays now on YouTube if you're interested in any of that. Generally about video games, or video game adjacent stuff. I still do gameplay stuff, but that's generally during the streams. If you want to check out the streams, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. If you'd like to check out any of those. We mostly play Minecraft only now. because it's kind of the thing that I enjoy playing the most when it comes to streaming. And it also gets most people watch it. So that's good too. I am also on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter if you'd like to check me out there at the Technojelly as well. If you'd like to see the before scenes of me talking to myself, go over to my Patreon account and become a member of Patreon. Before Alchem joins, I talk about all the things. And today, during the pre-Alchem things, I went on a deep dive on stocks for some reason. I don't know why. It became a deep hole. I went quite deep before Alchem arrived. That sounds really weird out of context. Anyway,
I was the one who does the out of context things.
Thank you all for watching today's episode of Two Buds, One Podcast. Also, just before we go, episode 30 is coming soon, so there will be a special episode coming up. I messaged Alchem about it, and he never responded, so we'll find out.
We'll find out on the next episode of the podcast.
Two Buds, One Podcast. Thank you for watching, everyone. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.